A ceasefire is a clear moral line to stop Israel's genocidal attacks against Gaza, and just the first step in bringing just peace to all people in the region so that everyone can be safe and secure with their families. If you don't support this proclamation, don't sign a fee for supposed support of the Jewish community. You want to stand with the Jewish community, then stand with me and those who support unequivocally international law and human rights for everybody, no exceptions. Stand with me for ceasefire, stand with me for safety for all Jewish people and all Palestinians. Thank you. Thank you.
Our next speaker signed up is Kathleen McKenzie.
Thank you, Madam President, and all of you for allowing me and others to speak to you tonight. My name is Kathleen McKenzie, and I live in Council District 10. I was privileged to serve on this body from 1999 to 2007, and our failure then to have this kind of public forum was a lamentable lapse, in my opinion, in municipal democracy. So kudos to Councilman Cashman and others who achieved this opportunity for us to talk to you. I'm here tonight to ask you to pass a proclamation calling for an Israeli ceasefire on war in Gaza. A ceasefire on the Israeli war in Gaza. I have some experience with this. In 2003, when I was on this body, I sponsored a resolution against the Iraq War. I had come of age in the Vietnam era, and I couldn't believe that my country was again going to war halfway around the world with confused objectives. So I thought, I have a platform. I cannot sanction this war with my silence. Then, as now, people said, foreign policy is not the business of the Denver City Council. Then, as now, we have plenty of other problems to address. But some of you may remember how muted dissent was in the post 9/11 period. Then, dissent was called anti-patriotism. Now it's called anti-Semitism. The thuggish pounding of people who dare to criticize Israel makes this, in my opinion, another shameful period in American history. It seems that the First Amendment must be defended over and over again. The other lesson that I thought Americans have learned from our Middle East disasters is that terrorist organizations cannot be bombed or assassinated out of existence. They simply reemerge, often in a more dangerous form. Nothing we're doing in Gaza is making us safer.
Thank you so much.
Is that it? Okay.
Our next speaker in queue is Kamala Shaban.
Hello, good evening. My name is Kim Shaban. I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist. I practice and live in Denver. I'm here tonight with two main agenda items, demanding that at least two of you change your vote to a yes for the ban on freezing sweets and demanding a ceasefire resolution on Gaza. Looking at the agenda, I see most of us are here for the same thing, so I'll try to keep my remarks brief so you can hear from as many of us as possible. The majority of you campaigned for this office was some sort of promise or discussion around helping those experiencing homelessness. We already know from previous years of doing this that sweeps are not only not the answer, they don't work, they are also inhumane and undignified. Everyone agrees that another more sustainable solution needed to be found. And yet here we are with no other solution, the crisis getting worse and we continue to squeeze. If you will not and cannot do anything to fix this solution, the absolute bare minimum that you can do is ban freezing sweeps. This is the least you can do to keep your commitments to Denver. Currently, housing rates are out of control. Rent and mortgage payments are more than most of us make in a month. Child care costs are more than most of us make in a month. With the increases in electric bills, cost of food, and healthcare being more than the average wage increase any of us have seen in years, and all of these are things you promised to fix. Since you won't do that, the two of you could do the bare minimum again by changing your vote to stop the mayor from vetoing this resolution. Otherwise, what can we expect from our government? That we will be swept aside, pushed further down into someone else's problem. Many of you also campaigned on issues of social justice, environmental justice, immigration rights, human rights, or women's rights. And if you cannot see how that directly relates to whether or not we stand up against and call for the end of the genocide in Gaza, in Congo, in Sudan, and all the other places, then you are performative allies. You cannot have clean air if you are allowing the bombing of another country. You do not deserve electric vehicles if the only way you can get them is by destroying the Congo and Sudan. You do not stand for human rights if you allow humans to be bombed, abused, raped, destroyed, and killed. You cannot say you stand for justice if you are quiet during the genocide. You cannot say you stand for justice if you are quiet during the genocide. You cannot champion climate justice if you ignore the impact of war bombing and white silver out of the earth. You cannot champion climate justice while you allow the destruction of another nation for their resources. You cannot champion climate justice while you allow traffic to continue in our state. Right now, you are performative allies, and we are no longer here for a performance. We are here for action. We demand you uphold your commitments to us, since you were hired by us to speak for us. We demand a ceasefire now, a free Palestine, a free Congo, a free Sudan, an end to genocide against Palestinians, Congolese, Sudanese, Greek, and Armenian populations. We demand a ban on freezing sweeps. We demand that Denver City Council take action on these issues as members not only of Denver, but of our global community that is interdependent. Land back, free Palestine, ceasefire now.
Good evening. My name is Carissa Garcia, and I live in the 6th District in Denver. I'm an Indigenous person, born and raised in Colorado. My mother grew up in Denver's Flatlands, the East Side. I'm a descendant of and a survivor of genocide on this land. I served 8 years in the United States Army. I did 2 tours of war. The United States military stole my land and my youth, and they used it to terrorize children all over the world. So today I'm speaking in defense of Palestine, for their land, their youth, and their future, which directly impacts our future and the self-determination of Indigenous people everywhere. In 2004, I landed in Iraq and entered the belly of the beast of U.S. imperialism. 20 years later, I still can't sleep, and the Army hasn't paid for my college education. In Iraq, I saw how the lust for oil and power turned men into monsters. I've seen the United States' blatant disregard for all life on this planet, especially black and brown lives. Make no mistake, the terror in Palestine is not a war. It is genocide. As an Indigenous daughter of these occupied lands, and as a disabled veteran of the U.S. military, I cannot stand idly by while we continue to murder children and genocide people. And neither should you. We are doing our part here today, and we are calling on you, the elected leaders of this city, to do your part. Pass a resolution supporting a ceasefire in Gaza, including the immediate and unhindered passage of humanitarian aid, the release of all hostages and political prisoners, an end to the U.S. military funding for Israel that is being used to target and kill tens of thousands of innocent Palestinian civilians, most of whom are children. We must utilize our resources not for the destruction of life, but to provide critical aid to the Palestinian people, to heal our veterans, and to feed and house our struggling siblings right outside these doors.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. I don't think I've ever done anything like this before. I'm not from Palestine, I'm from Pakistan. I've been in this country for a very, very long time. And, I try to stand up for a lot of people. Anything I think is wrong, if you need help or your cause is right, I will jump on your cause. I think it's the right thing to do, right? The reason why I'm here today, the reason why I'm wearing this is, to have a conversation with people. I feel like there's such a misinformation in this country that starts at the top, right? And trying to manipulate people's thoughts, right? So the goal that I have is when I wear this is to just talk to people, There's no way a regular human being will be against the Palestinian people. It doesn't make sense to me. It does not make sense. So all we need is a conversation. Right? I was on the chairlift the other day snowboarding, and I was wearing this. And luckily, one of the guys sitting next to me was a Jewish person. He was like, "Hey, I'm Jewish, can I talk to you?" I was like, "Of course, that's why I wear this," right? And him and I talked, and we agreed. We're like, what's going on with the Palestinian people is not right? There's the right way of doing it, and there's the wrong way of doing it. At the end of the day, I also agree with him for the sake of the conversation. Hamas needs to go. I agree with that. But then, I understand how you gotta get rid of Hamas, right? Hamas is an idea of freedom. Why is everybody coming to Hamas? It's freedom. You're promising freedom. And you have operation, it's really other Zionists on the other side, right? So the moral of the story is, after the conversation that I have with people on the left, I was able to educate them, right? You are elected leaders. When we pick you, when we vote for you, we have some confidence level that you are somewhere intelligent. You have somewhere getting the news. You're not watching the same news that we are. You have different channels, right? You know what's going on. So, with respect to Palestinian people, this didn't happen just out of the blue on October the 7th. It happened a long time, right? The least you can do now is call for a ceasefire. Recognize that and say, okay, this is not the right way. You're killing people, right? The right way is come to the table. Let's have a conversation. It's like, okay, they want peace. Let's have a conversation. Not just killing people. Be like Chicago. Be one of the main cities who passed that resolution. I see diversity here. It's pretty excellent. Use that. I can't remember. I'm very new to them, And I'm so happy for all these people that are here, and I really urge you guys, man. We're supposed to be voting for you with some kind of confidence. Right now, the political system is not the greatest in merits, right?
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I hope you make the right decision. I hope you vote for a ceasefire.
Thank you.
in Gaza and all of Israel. I'm a Palestinian American, and I speak on behalf of all souls who have lost their lives, their limbs, and their dignity in the merciless slaughter. I speak in the name of over 50,000 pregnant women who are now having their children in bombed-out homes and on the streets with no medical care, clean water, or electricity. I speak for the Palestinians here in Denver that have lost hundreds of their family members. Now, many of you may not see a reason to speak on this issue, to take sides, as they say. But I assure you it is time to speak just as over 50 other cities, including Chicago City Council, have spoken. And both the words of Dr. Martin Luther King in his 1967 anti-Vietnam speech. A time comes when silence is betrayal. Our silence is a betrayal of who we are as humans, a betrayal of our values purporting to care for the hungry, the poor, and the weak. Gaza is a piece of land, roughly 25 miles long, 5 miles wide. If you overlay Gaza, here in Denver, it would roughly run from downtown Golden to downtown Aurora, with the width from I-70 to 6th Avenue. Inside this land, you'd have the density of New York City. Now imagine you drop the equivalent of 3 Hiroshima bombs on this area and kill and maim half of the children in the Denver public school system. Now imagine you use those bombs and tanks to destroy every single home and apartment in the entire city of Denver, and violently move 1 million Denverites from West Denver to Aurora, starving or maiming every resident of the city. That's what's happening in Gaza. So I'm calling on you to speak. Dr. King reminds us to call for peace is not when it makes a good photo op. The time to call for peace is when it is uncomfortable, when people call you names, when people spit on you, insult you, or call you an agitator. If today was 1943 and I was a Jew standing before you to call for a ceasefire in Germany and Poland, would you speak? Or would you give me the litany of excuses on why it is just so complicated of an issue for you to be able to utter such a controversial word? I'm begging the council to find the courage to call for a ceasefire and try to see the children of Gaza's eyes in their own children's eyes.
Oh, okay. Sheriff, can you see if Madeline is in the overflow room? Thank you. I'll go to the next speaker, Mohammed Hassis.
I'm excited council members from District 5. My name is Mohammed Hassis. I'm a pediatrician licensed and working here in Great City, Colorado. I'm here today to ask you to call for a ceasefire. As a physician, I dutifully carry out my duties with many nights spent awake at the bedside of my patients who are sick with a race, or religion, or creed. I've had the privilege to care for Israeli children and Palestinian children alike, and made no distinction based on their background. Made no mistake, children are never guilty of crime with others. Though it's been emotional heavy at times, I love my job. I get to heal and care for the children in Colorado and also respond to play. Our children in Gaza and the child hostage in Israel had no such privilege. Today marks day 122 of the snow. While there is no justification for the acts unleashed on the Israeli people on October 7th, similarly, there is no justification for the horror unleashed on the captive civilian population of Gaza. Gaza is a small enclave of 25 miles by 3 miles at its narrowest. It is home to 2.2 million people, over 60% of whom are children under the age of 18. So far, approximately 35,000 people, specifically 13,000 children, have been massacred in the IDF's failed invasion of Gaza. While the stated purpose of this invasion was to destroy Hamas and free the hostages, so far exactly 0 hostages have been freed due to military action. Hamas continues to exist. The campaign has turned into collective punishment of a counted population. It has destroyed over 70% of the homes in Gaza, led to mass starvation, and created what UN Security General Anthony Guterres described as a graveyard for children. Gaza is now the most dangerous place in the world to be a child. While we have brought our representatives and protest and appeal to our president to call for a ceasefire, or at the very least not provide U.S. arms to further this genocide, our calls have fallen on deaf ears. I instead turn to you, our respective representatives of the city of Denver, to call for a ceasefire, to help promote practical solutions ensuring peace and a future for the children of Gaza and leading to the safe return of hostages. I still remember the proudest moment of my career, the moment on the day of my graduation, as I was surrounded by my colleagues and teachers, when I stood and swore an oath to dedicate my life to the service of humanity. I stand before you today because our collective humanity is at risk. Nothing, and I mean nothing, justifies the preventable death of a child. The death of any child through war, sickness, starvation is a tragedy and a stain on our collective consciousness. We, as a moral community, must take a strong stance against the continued assault on childhood before it is too late. I beg of you, call for a ceasefire now.
demand the release of all hostages, including all Palestinian political prisoners, push for immediate humanitarian assistance, oppose any new military aid to Israel, and publicly condemn Israel's targeting of civilians. When October 7th happened, I watched the news report on the massacres at a kibbutz. I was horrified and couldn't understand how something like this could happen, so I started to do some research. It didn't take long for me to see the necessity of placing what had happened within the context of Israel's 76-year-long brutal occupation and ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people. It also became clear that criticism of Israel and Zionism is not anti-Semitic, but such criticism is a moral imperative to take action against supremacy and violent settler colonialism. It's been 3 months now of Israel's genocide of Palestinians. Over 30,000 people have been murdered by the Israeli military, and of those murdered, 12,000 are children, while over 66,000 Palestinians have been injured. Israel continues to bomb and besiege hospitals, abduct, torture, and execute civilians, and prevent people's access to clean water and food. The depravity of the Israeli military knows no bounds, and they are being funded by our tax dollars. Every year, $2.8 billion of our U.S. tax dollars are sent to Israel. Last year, Biden bypassed Congress twice to send over $250 million worth of weapons to Israel. Most recently, the Biden administration cut all funding to UNRWA, which has been a critical source of humanitarian aid to Gaza. The U.S. funding of Israel's genocide is disgusting and implicates all of us to take action at all levels of society. This includes Denver City Council. 70 U.S. cities have passed ceasefire resolutions, including San Francisco, Atlanta, and now Chicago is the largest city yet. Interconnected with both local, national, and global struggles for freedom, from climate justice to reproductive rights, to child protection rights, to police brutality and white supremacy, to the present forced displacement and dehumanization of our migrant community, of which I urge for you to also pass the No Freezing Suits bill. And standing for the oppressed, we not only recognize their humanity, but we also free ourselves from the systems that work to keep us atomized and severed from what makes us human. Thank you.
If you can accept that promotion, we'd like to bring you in. No? Okay. We'll move on to Ace Winters.
call for a ceasefire. But what is often forgotten is the names of the victims of the brutal Israeli occupation that the Zionist entity carries out against the people of Palestine. So today I'll be reading a list of names from the dead. Aisha Khalil Hamdan Al-Asal, female, 72 years old. Seima Mohammed Suleiman Al-Asal, 19 years old. Yamin Abdullah Zakaria Al-Asal, 7 years old. Janan Hamad Nasar Al-Asal, 1 year old. Bian Yaha Yusuf Al-Asal, less than a year old. Naja Abdel Ismail Hasuna, 86 years old. Whose grandmother was she? Abdul Rahman Muhammad Fad Ahmed Hasuna, 27 years old. Was he a young father? Adam Hassan Amin Hasuna, 3 years old. What hopes do his parents have for his future? Gada Nabil Hassan Al-Nahar, 26 years old. That's a year older than me. Did she get to go to college? Fatima Mohammed Khamenei Al-Nahar, 5 years old. Zayn Al-Din Suleiman Muin Al-Nahar, less than a year old. Rita Wagi Jihad Al-Masri, 27. Abdel Razak Ramez Abdel Razak Al-Masri, 9 years old. Ayman Ahmad Ramadan Al-Masri, 1 year old. Rabah Muhammad Abdel Razak Al-Kur, 51. Jannat Osama Ahmed Al-Kur, 5. Inshira Muhammad Ayash Shaheen, 29. Shaheen Murad Wali.
As a city, but increasingly responsible for the genocide. Our so-called science, or so-called neutrality is anything but it is a corporate support of the ongoing implemented. Ignorance is not an excuse. Highly accept that nation of the group money to the right that are officially maintained, and that number of legitimate voting set appointments and advocacy, or you don't. My intention tonight is to help the council find the courage and our record towards justice. Our children have tools to do in lives that will inspire action. I spent my birthday for over a month after I broke 7th. I braced myself for what I knew was coming. Bold-faced racist lies to dehumanize Palestinians, repeated at the highest levels of our media and government to manufacture incentive while that is come. I could not bring myself to boast or speak publicly. I feared for my job as the sole source of income for my family. I was afraid of being labeled an anti-Semite. I was afraid of re-traumatizing my Jewish friends who were all affected and so regions killed, and the landlord told me was the only way to keep them safe. It's okay to be afraid, I told myself, but I knew it was not okay to remain silent. As it became more apparent that hearing hostages is a distant second to the collective punishment of Gazans and destruction of their civilian infrastructure to encourage voluntary immigration, our federal government doubled down by censoring the refusal to leave, passing legislation including anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism, and bypassing Congress to send more weapons to my favorite Zionist group. And they can never visit my dear friend Omar. He's the descendant of Palestinians ethnically cleansed from Hebron and Gaza in 1967. My wife and I played and sang and laughed at this beautiful, my twin daughters. They were born 6 weeks premature and spent 3 weeks in the NICU. I kept thinking that if they had been born in Gaza in the last month, they probably would not have survived the power cuts, sieges, and airstrikes near the Gaza. It was only his first time being with what they removed the wrong concept. He was shocked at the level of difference in ignorance, how everyone seemed to just carry on. I could find out I was scared to speak up publicly. I just said I couldn't do it, they can't do it. I could tell I heard him, I let him down. The next day, my other man decided that their arms were here, hold their heads high, and take 3 Palestine to come my with listen. We also used Iron's friends, and it seemed to be price to pay what cousins lose everything. We ask you, our representatives, to educate yourselves on the history of the occupation, harness your fear, and help them join 50 other states in taking this critical step forward. If you fail to act, your silence will only feed your fear. I still find it hard to sleep after bearing witness to the day of our fears that I have to work to have my family off the streets, while my labor generates the money used to kill one more sibling of them. I have spoken my truth to you today, and I think I will sleep sound for tonight. Thank you all, and free Palestine for everyone.
Concludes our general public comment session. We won't get to everyone else. We had 84 people sign up for a 30-minute general public comment session. So I appreciate you all coming out. I appreciate your solidarity. Next session will be on Monday, February 12th. Sign up begins at 11 a.m. this Friday, February 9th. We look forward to hearing from you again. Thank you for attending.
I'll pass this resolution.
That's one thing. The other thing is this. We have Tim Hernández, Representative Tim Hernández, who is looking to get on the ballot. He's been amazing through all of this. He showed up day one. And when I say day one, on October 7th, he was at the steps of the Capitol supporting us unapologetically. All right? So I want to encourage you, if you can canvass for him, that would be great. We need to collect 1,000 valid signatures. That means we will need to collect double that amount to make sure that once we vet through them, that they're all good to go. So we'll be doing this for the next couple of weeks. We need as many people as possible to help us out.
It's not that bad, I promise you. I went out last weekend. Nobody's gonna bite you. If they don't want to sign, you just walk away. It's all good. And I'm happy to go with anybody that wants to do this as well. I'm happy to accompany you to kind of show you the ropes. But there's a lot of support around it. Please take one of these if you're interested. You do not have to be in his district to collect signatures for him, but you do have to do it in his district. But we have a pretty solid system of how to do it, and I'm hoping that you will be able to support him as much as possible, because as you just witnessed now, we have 2 councilwomen that are on our side, and so we need to get as many people in these offices as much as possible that support the Palestinian cause and all the causes that are interconnected with our cause as well. Love you all. Please come by and get one from me. Sign up for speaking. They're only going to give us 10 slots for each time that we come to speak. And that's the first 30 minutes from 5 to 5:30. If we have to, we will shut it down next week. That's right. But I urge you, if you want to put an alarm on your phone, 11 a.m. on Friday is when you get in to sign up, because it's first come, first served. If you've spoken, sadly, and it's my understanding, even if you've just signed up, so I have to double check on that, and you have not spoken, you have to wait 90 days before they accept you. So please, if you have not spoken here in the last few months, and especially in the last few weeks, please sign up, because we need more and more people to speak, and your speech can be recycled at other city council meetings. So bear that in mind. Most places allow for 3 minutes. Thank you to all who spoke today. You did
Email your representatives.
Yes.
Go out and look at a map. You don't know who your rep is.
Yes.
Email them. Tell them you're in their district. And listen to that. It matters.
And in our guide that we send out on Instagram and other places, you can look up who your council person is too from each city. Okay? Email them as well.
And if you get on the CPC and DSA mailing list, we have action alerts coming out this week that will help you do it automatically. So just go to CPC socials, sign up, and email it.
Okay. We will put that in. Thank you so much, guys.